Krishna. We will continue from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 11, Text 20. Natanartaka Gandharva Suta Magata Vandinaha Gayanti Chota Mashloka Charitani Adbhutani Cha. Expert dramatists, artists, dancers, singers, historians, genealogists, and learned speakers all gave their respective contributions, being inspired by the superhuman pastimes of the Lord. Thus, they proceeded on and on. So we are going through the welcome process of Krishna coming back to Dwarka. And unlike Vrindavan, Dwarka is where Krishna is king. So he's receiving royal welcome, not only from the royalty, but also from common citizens, from the entertainment sector, the Bollywood of Dwarka, from the prostitutes, from the flower makers. I mean, it's all sorts of all sections of society loves Krishna. And that's what's evident. Generally, what happens, politicians have to walk around with bodyguards because they're always worried somebody will throw a stone at them or kill them or beat the shit out of them. Because that's the kind of politicians we have. But Krishna didn't have bodyguards. He was accessible to all. He was loved by all. And that is the charming, attractive personality of God that we have as God. Text 21. Somebody wants to read?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Bhagavansthatra bandhunam pauranam anuvartinam yatha vidya upasangamya sarvesha manamadade. Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, approached them and offered due honor and respect to each and every one of the friends, relatives, citizens, and all others who came to receive and welcome him.
Thank you, Mataji. Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, approached them and offered due honor and respect to each and every one of the friends, relatives, citizens, all others who came to receive and welcome him. In ISKCON, something I was very surprised by when I came across was when somebody gives you a gift, you say thank you very much. When the person giving you the gift in ISKCON, actually, I saw people say thank you for receiving it. I was like, why would they thank the person receiving it? Because somebody giving it, you thank them. But somebody receiving it, it's because it's a joy of giving. The fact that we let somebody give us something, we let somebody serve us. It might be awkward at first, but it's also pleasure from the other side. The person who's giving pleasure is also feeling happy, right? So same way, Krishna is accepting all these wonderful adorations and everything, but he's also very respectfully, thanking them for what they're doing. So it's both sides, a cordial approach. Text 22. Somebody wants to read?
Okay.
Go ahead.
परहभिवादनाशिलेश करस्पर्शस्मितेक्षणे अश्वास्य चाश्वपाकेभ्यो वैरेश्च भीमतैर्विभु. The Almighty Lord greeted everyone present by bowing his head, exchanging greetings, embracing, shaking hands, looking and smiling. giving assurances and awarding benedictions even to the lowest in the rank.
Attention to detail, right? So Bhagavatam, every word matters. So here, the different kind of exchanges are given. Bowing his head, exchanging greetings, embracing, shaking hands. The handshake was not a Western thing. We also had that. Shaking hands, looking and smiling, giving assurance. Don't worry, I'm here. Awarding benediction, even to the lowest in rank. So I'm just going to draw a parallel. Lord Ramachandra, while the Vanar Sena was building the bridge, we know the story where Hanuman was throwing massive, hills and massive, boulders into the bridge building process. And there was a little squirrel that was throwing little dust and small pebbles. And Lord Ramachandra was watching both of them with a lot of joy. And Hanuman told the squirrel, Squirrel, move out of the way. You're causing distraction. Anyway, what are you offering? Look how big, strong boulders I'm bringing. Clear the way for me so I can go. So Lord Ramachandra didn't like that. He corrected Hanuman. He said, Hanuman, just like you have capacity to carry boulders and hills, and you're throwing at your capacity, this squirrel has his capacity, and he's throwing pebbles at his level. To me, I see both of you as equal. You're doing it according to your capacity, he's doing it according to his capacity. To me, both of you are serving me, and both I see equally. So don't put him down. So this is the nature of the Supreme Lord. So here also we see different kinds of people, although he sees with equality, but he reciprocates differently with different kinds of people. Just like in Krishna Leela and in Vrindavan Leela, uh, Mathura Leela, we see how Krishna is reciprocating with the demons by killing them. He's reciprocating with the gopis by dancing with them. He's reciprocating with the gopas by playing with them, tug of war, this, that, right? So he reciprocates. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sadeva bhajamiham. To the degree they come to Krishna, they surrender to Krishna. So that degree Krishna reciprocates. So here also we see different levels of intimacy. But what is common is Krishna is not leaving anybody behind. Everyone is getting reciprocated with in their own way, the relationship that is there with Krishna. So in our lives also, this is something we can learn from Krishna as a diplomat, right? When we are in leadership positions, sometimes arrogance kicks in, and we start overlooking certain people and respecting certain people, right? Um, for example, somebody who's a suited booted officer versus somebody who's the guy at the elevator pressing the buttons. As a Vaishnava, we respect both. We acknowledge the person who's pressing the elevator buttons. We also respect the person who's leading the company. Both have super soul within. Both deserve respect. Now, to the CEO, we might say, wonderful to see you. How is it going? To the left person, we might say, thank you very much. But acknowledgement is there in both cases. How you acknowledge might be different. For example, if you see a tiger, you might say Hare Krishna from far. Hare Krishna, dear tiger, may you have a human life next birth. Whereas if you see a little calf, you might go and hug the calf because the calf is not going to bite. It might bite you, but it won't hurt you. The tiger might rip you apart. So it's important to understand we have love for all living entities as Vaishnavas, right? Because Krishna has love for all living entities. But how we treat the envious, how we treat the um, the innocent, how we treat those who are duplicitous is different. But we have love for all, whether it's a terrorist, whether it's a saint, whether it's a politician, whether it's a parent, whether it's our blood related, or whether it's somebody from another nation. It doesn't make a difference. Everybody's part and parcel of Krishna. So it's important that we cultivate the mood of compassion, love, kindness for all living entities, not just our species, but even other species. That is true unity and diversity, and that's what Krishna consciousness gives us. The ability to see Krishna in everyone. Krishna is inside. Just like we see in the computer, Intel inside. Same way when we see a living entity, whether it's an ant or a human or a dinosaur, there's Krishna inside. When you see it that way, then every person becomes temple of God. Every person becomes respectable. Now, some people uh, might require a little bit of correction, or we might, if you're a parent or if you're a boss or if you're, you might have to sometimes be a little harsh or sometimes be a little corrective in your actions, but the compassion should never go away. The correction should not come from a position of, you are nothing, I am something. It should come from a position of service. You're not able to do your job, let me help you make it better, right? Like Mother Yashoda. She never hit Krishna. She showed the stick, right? I don't want you to become a thief when you grow up. That was her mentality. That I don't want you to become a thief. I want you to be a man of character. So, I need to correct you, but I'll not harm you. My love for you is still very strong. What happens to us? Today we are hearing mothers are putting their babies in the microwave and killing them. Why? For crying, right? We are hearing, I mean, killing baby in the womb is very common. People do abortions left, right, and center. So, so where is that mentality? That mentality is we have forgotten kindness and compassion. We have forgotten this is a life. We have forgotten there's Krishna within, right? So Krishna consciousness brings back that idea that no matter who, no matter what, there is life within. And thus life must be respected. We can't create life. So we can't annihilate life either. We must respect life. Having said that, of course, there is room for punishment, like a king hanging somebody who has committed a murder. It is actually an act of compassion. Why? Because in this life, when they get hanged, they don't have to suffer for their murder next life. Otherwise, next life, it will continue, it will perpetuate, and they will have to be killed for the killings they have done. Now, what about somebody like Hitler? He's killed 9 million people. Guess what? One dying is not going to be enough. He is going to die 9 million times. The same way they have caused those deaths, they'll have to suffer. You know what is worse? This really scares me. When somebody eats cow meat, when they kill a cow, you have to be born as many times as there are hair on that cow's body and be killed. That's what the scripture says. That's a lot of punishment, right? So a lot of these cows who are dying were humans who had cow, and they're going to be born so many times over and suffer so many times over. Now, that does not mean we say, oh, this cow was a previous cow eater, beef eater. So, no compassion. No. As Vaishnavas, we have compassion for all. We chant Hare Krishna and we pray for all. We tell Lord Nityananda, please have mercy on this soul, right? Because we have seen the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, we have seen how they have treated Jagai and Madhai. The worst of the worst. They were rapists, murderers, plunderers, drunkards. There was no crime that they had not committed. And yet, Lord Nityananda's first thought was first to deliver Jagai and Madhai. Hence, in this world, you know, we must not forget about compassion. Yes, people are suffering because of their karma. It's a given. But our mind should be, how can I help this soul? We might not be going to them and saying, helping them by, hey, take this Bhagavad Gita. That's nice, but not everybody we can do that. But even shaking hands with somebody while carrying Krishna in the heart, my dear Krishna, please benefit this person, right? That's how we benefit all living entities. And the best part is, we have the biggest weapon, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Whoever we can, whatever we can, especially non-humans, we can always chant to them. With humans, we can give prasadam. We can somehow bring Krishna in the picture. And if in a sentence we say the word Krishna, they hear it from us because we are in disciplic succession. It's a very powerful uh, influence on their heart, right? The more we can say Krishna, 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 the more they hear, the more the better. What if Srila Prabhupada encouraged one of his critics to come and correct him. This person kept on saying, in this book, in this page, you said Krishna said this, but that's not this, and that is that, and you're wrong, and this, that. And Prabhupada said, okay, what more? And he said, and you said Krishna said this, and Krishna said that. And he said, okay, tell me more, tell me more. Prabhupada kept on doing this for 1.5 hours. And the person kept on saying, Krishna, Krishna this, Krishna that. And the devotees were getting very agitated hearing this. And after this person left, he was a professor in, I think, Stockholm University. And devotees said, Prabhupada, he's a demon, right? He was, finding so many faults in you. Prabhupada said, no, no. He was chanting Krishna's name so nicely. Did you see? Prabhupada kept on encouraging him because that's the only way such an envious person can chant Krishna's holy name. And that's what Prabhupada did. So the mindset shouldn't be dhanam janam sundarim, the followership, I should be popular, me, 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 me. The goal of all of us is help others come one step closer to Krishna. How the best way to do that is when we become Krishna conscious. Because by our contact, they have come closer to Krishna. When we become the emissary of Krishna consciousness, just by our contact, our association, something we say, something they do, they feed us, they open the door for us, some service they do, boom, they get access to bhakti. Bhakti lata beach, the seed of bhakti gets planted. That's the glory of bhakti process. That we first become devotees and then we allow ourselves, to be accessible to others and benefit them by that process. So Krishna, in this case, how everyone is glorifying him and he is reciprocating in his own sweet way to every one of them, even the lowest in rank. Next verse, text 23.
स्वयं च गुरुभिर्विप्रे सदारे सविरेरपि आशीर्भिर्युजर्मानोर्वन्दभिश्चाभिषत्पुरम्. Then the Lord personally entered the city, accompanied by elderly relatives and invalid brahmanas with their wives, all offering benedictions and singing the glories of the Lord. Others also praised the glories of the Lord.
Okay, next.
राजमार्गगते कृष्णे द्वारकाय कुलस्त्रिय विप्र तदीक्षीण महोत्सवा. When the Lord Krishna passed over the public roads, all the ladies from the respectable families of Dwarka went up to the roofs of their places just to have a look at the Lord. They considered this to be the greatest festival.
We get to see this when Jagannath passes through Puri Road, main road. You see all the devotees are on the road, obviously, but then so many people are on the hotels and the rooftops and on the balconies and everything, trying to get a glimpse of the Lord. This is Krishna personally present, so everybody's trying to get a glimpse of the Supreme Lord. Okay.
Nitya Nirikshanam Yadapi Dwarakokasa Na Vrityapyanti Hi Drishya Shriyo Dhamanga Achyutam. The inhabitants of Dwarka were regularly accustomed to look upon the reservoirs of all beauty, the infallible Lord, yet they were never satiated.
So there is no satisfaction, being in Krishna's presence. So it's never boring. Because what happens is, when a boy and a girl meets, even if you marry the most beautiful person on the planet, still after a certain time, it will get very much like, okay, now what? We recently heard Abhishek Bachchan having some affairs with somebody. even though he's married to apparently the most beautiful lady, Aishwarya Rai. It is natural. Uh, but it's not so with Krishna. Navayovanamjan. Every day he is new youth. Every day he looks fresh. And it is impossible to be satiated by Krishna's beauty because you always yearn for more and more and more. Now that sounds like greed. So there is something called spiritual greed. And the word for that is lolium, right? And that is something that's very much encouraged. The greed to hear about Krishna, the greed to see Krishna, the greed to visit Krishna's holy places, the greed to serve Krishna and his devotees. That's lolium. And there is so much happiness because it doesn't get boring. The eagerness is always there, and it's like a drug, like drug addiction. What happens? You want more, more, more. But then you have to increase the dosage also. And eventually it harms one so much, then, one becomes completely invalid. But in Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada always said, stay high forever, right? Because he was dealing with the druggies, hippies, who were intoxicated, and they were doing it for getting a high. The thing is, with this, there is no low. As you yearn for more, Krishna gives you more, and there's more and more and more, and there's oceans and oceans of happiness to be enjoyed, and there is no crash landing. You only get Anandam Buddhivardhanam. Constantly, happiness is growing. So that's what's being mentioned here. Look upon the reservoir of all beauty, the infallible Lord, yet they were never satiated. That's the difference between material and spiritual. Spiritual things, it never gets old. Material things gets old. After a certain time, you can't uh, derive happiness from matter. And phone that is new, we feel very happy. After a while, that same phone we're throwing here, throwing there, there's nothing. Same thing with humans. When we treat humans like material objects, same way, there's only so much we can derive pleasure from a human being. But if there's a spiritual connection, no matter how old we become, the relationship or the bond becomes stronger and stronger as we go along. Okay, next verse, 26.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, can I?
Please.
Okay. Shriyo Nivaso, Shriyo Nivaso, Yasyora, Panapa, Panapatram, Mukam Drusham, Bhavo Loka, Palanam, Saranganam, Padam Bhujam. Hare Krishna. Translation: The Lord's chest is the abode of the goodness of fortune. His moon-like face is the drinking vessel for eyes which hanker after all that is beautiful. His arms are the resting places for the administrative demigods, and his lotus feet are the refuge of pure devotees who never look or sing of any object except his lordship. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very beautiful poetic statement. The Lord's chest is the abode of the goddess of fortune. Lakshmi Devi resides there. His moon-like face is a drinking vessel for the eyes. Feast your eyes, you know, by the Lord's beautiful face, which hankers after all that is beautiful. His arms are the resting places of the demigods, administrative demigods, and his lotus feet are the refuge of pure devotees. So you say Prabhupada. Prabhupada means one who sits at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Right? Prabhupada. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Abhay Charan Aroginda Bhaktivedanta Swami. Abhay Charan means one who's sitting, who's fearless at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So when you're at the lotus feet of the Lord, there is no fear. That's where devotees reside. That's why we take dust from Vrindavan. Why? Because the dust from Vrindavan has touched Krishna's lotus feet. And it is also where devotees reside. So that's why Vraj Raj is so, so special. Okay, next verse, 27.
Hare Krishna, I'll read.
Sure.
सीतातपत्र व्यजनेर उपष्कृत प्रसूना वर्षैरभिवर्षितापति विशङ्गवासा मनमालया बभौ घनो यथार्कोदुपचापवैद्युते. Translation. As the Lord passes along the public road of Dwarka, his head was protected from the sunshine by a white umbrella. White feathered fans moved in semicircles, and showers of flowers fell upon the road. His yellow garments and garlands of flowers made it appear as if a dark cloud were surrounded simultaneously by sun, moon, lightning, and rainbows. Thank you. Haribol.
Just imagine that description. So, okay, the white umbrella is understandable. The feathered fans going in semicircle, very nicely described. The showers of flowers fell upon the road, and his yellow garments and the garland of flowers made it appear as if dark cloud were surrounded by simultaneously sun and the moon, lightning and rainbows. Sun, moon, lightning, rainbows surrounding dark cloud. The Krishna's darkened complexion. And the falling of the flowers are being described that way. Very poetic. Okay, next verse.
प्रविष्टस्तु गृहं पित्रो परिस्वकत स्वमातृभिः ववन्दे शिरसा सप्त devaki pramukha muda. Translation. After entering the house of his father, he was embraced by the mothers present, and the Lord offered his obeisances unto them by placing his head at their feet. The mothers were headed by Devaki, his real mother.
Right. After entering the house of his father, he was embraced by the mothers present. So this father is not Nanda Maharaj. This is Vasudev. Vasudev. And he was embraced by the mothers present. The Lord offered his obeisances unto them by placing his head at their feet. The mothers were headed by Devaki. Who are the mothers? Devaki and mother of Balaram. What's the mother of Balaram?
Rohini Devi.
Rohini. Thank you. Okay, 29.
ता पुत्रम् अङ्कम् आरोप्य स्नेहस्नुत पयोदर हर्ष विह्वलितामान शिशिचुर्नेत्रजैर्जलाहि. Translation. The mothers, after embracing their son, sat him on their laps. Due to pure affection, milk sprang from their breasts. They were overwhelmed with delight, and the tears from their eyes wetted the Lord.
So this is uh, this is a reality when a mother feels affection for their child. Even with cows, it's seen that their breasts become wet with milk. So although Krishna is a grown-up person, at this point he is 125 years old. According to earthly calculations. Yet the mothers feel the same affection, for their son, no matter how old they are. Of course, Krishna doesn't look 125; he looks like a 16-year-old. So they're having him sit on their lap and everything, and showering their affection on the Lord. See, the point is, Krishna loves to be loved, and the dharma of the soul is to love and be loved. Now, when it comes to us, we have certain level of affection between each other. But when it comes to Supreme Lord, the affection knows no bound because that is the object of actual love. He is the object of actual love. So when that contact of the soul and the super soul, or Atma and Paramatma, comes together, there is no foundation of what is possible. And that's what we see over and over with all sections of society, where when they see Krishna, the unbounded joy and affection that is manifesting. Okay, next verse, text 30.
अथा विशत्स्व भवनं सर्वकाम कामम् अतुमम् अनुत्तमम् प्रासदा यत्र पतीनां सहस्राणि च सोदश. Thereafter, the Lord entered his palaces, which were perfect to the fullest extent. His wives lived in them, and they numbered over 16,000.
So for 16,108 wives, Krishna had 16,108 palaces, and in each palace there were that many maidservants, that many facilities, bedrooms, bathrooms, gold, jewelry, you name it, it was there. So one says Krishna can marry 16,000 wives, why can't I? Well, if you can take care of 60,000 wives like that, then certainly you should be able to. But most people can't take care of one wife also. So what to speak of even 16, what to speak of 16,000. So comparing with Krishna is stupidity, right? Because he's God. So that's what we see here, that he enters the palaces, which were perfect to the fullest extent. His wives lived in them, and they numbered over 16,000. The verse is not changing. Am I audible? Yes, sir. I'm stuck. The internet is having a problem, I guess. Am I audible?
Yes, now you're audible.
Okay. Uh, 31. Okay. Let's continue.
पत्न्या पतिं प्रोष्य घृणानुपागतं विलोक्य सञ्जात मनोमहोत्सव उथस्तुरारात् सहसासनासयात् साकं वृत्तैर्व्रीडित लोचना लोचन लोचनाननः. I'm sorry. The queens of Lord Krishna rejoiced within their minds to see their husband home after a long period abroad. The queens got up at once from their seats and meditations. As was socially customary, they covered their faces shyly and looked about coyly.
Okay. Next verse.
तम आत्मजय दृष्टिभिरन्तरात्मना दुरंत भावा परिरेभिरे पतिम निरुद्धम निरुद्धम अपि आश्रवद अम्बु नेत्रयोर विलाज विलज्जातिनं भृगुवर्य वैक्लवात्. Translation: The insuperable ecstasy was so strong that the queens who were shy first embraced the Lord in the innermost recess of their hearts. Then they embraced him visually. And then they sent their sons to embrace him, which is equal to personal embracing. But, O chief amongst the Brigus, though they tried to restrain their feelings, they inadvertently shed tears.
So beautiful. So the ecstasy is so strong, but there is also social custom. Today we have public display of affection is very common, whether it's a metro or a public transportation, but back in the days, especially when you're from the royal family, there are certain boundaries that one has to follow. And these queens uh, were, well trained. They were princesses before anyway, so they were from royal families. So they knew how to act in public life, even inside the palace. So that's where it's describing the insuperable ecstasy was so strong that the queens who were shy first embraced the Lord in the innermost recesses of the heart. So in the heart of hearts, they're embracing the Lord. That means this is something we can also do. Then they embraced him visually, with their eyes. Then they sent their sons to embrace him, which here Prabhupada is translating, which is equal to personal embrace. Right? Through the son, they're embracing. But O chief amongst the Brigus, though they try to restrain their feelings, they inadvertently shed tears. So basically showing how much they have love for Krishna. But mind you, note, the love for gopis is far, far, far more than the wives in Dwarka. Not comparing, devotees, but intimacy is so gopis is uncomparable to anyone. Okay, next verse.
यद्यपि असौ पार्श् पार्श्वगतो रहुगतस् तथापि तस्याङ्घ्रिः युगं नवं नवं पदे पदे का विरमेत तत्पदाच् चलापि यच्चिर न जहाति करहिचित्. Translation. Although Lord Sri Krishna was constantly by their sides as well as exclusively alone, his feet appeared to them to be newer and newer. The goddess of fortune, although by nature always restless and moving, could not quit the Lord's feet. So, what women can be detached from those feet, having once taken shelter of them?
Hmm. So Lakshmi Devi is known to be Chanchala. That's why it is recommended not to worship pictures of Lakshmi Devi where she's standing up, because when she's standing up means she can walk away. It's better to worship pictures of Lakshmi Devi where she's sitting on a lotus flower, because she's known to be Chanchala. But Krishna's lotus feet is so attractive, and it feels fresh and new, right? Navayovananchas. Every day, not only his feet, his whole body, and everything about him is new and fresh. That the goddess of fortune, although by nature is restless and moving, could not quit the Lord's lotus feet. Now, this statement, Lakshmi Chanchala, if you just I'll just pause for a second and speak from a economics perspective. That's how economies run, right? Money goes from point person one to person two to person three, and that's how a 10 rupee note creates a value of 10,000 rupees just by passing from one person to another. So that's how the economy runs. If everybody were to put fixed deposits and nobody would buy anything, things wouldn't go. So by nature, Lakshmi Devi, and you just see the parallel. By nature, economics, that's how it works. It's flow, right? But where does it stay, or magnetic attraction? Krishna's lotus feet. That's why, you see a lot of people worshiping Lakshmi Devi alone. As devotees, we never worship Lakshmi Devi alone. We always worship Lakshmi with Narayan or Krishna, because wherever Narayan goes, Lakshmi follows. So if you worship Lakshmi Devi alone, she might leave. But if Narayan and Lakshmi are together, if Narayan stays, she will certainly stay. So that's why dharma, we do our dharma, Narayan stays, and naturally, when you're dharmic, Lakshmi Devi automatically stays. So a chaste woman, it's something I can't quote you a scripture, but I heard it from my mentor. He said this, that a chaste woman is a secret to a man's financial abundance. If the wife is chaste, the husband will be financially abundant. Again, I don't know scripturally where it comes from, but it makes sense, right? And the wife, if she is not uh, acting like the goddess of fortune, then because the home will be not in order. When the home is not in order, the man cannot focus on his work. He will have to focus on home also. And thus, automatically, productivity goes down. When productivity goes down, no matter who you are, you can't succeed in life. Only optimal success is possible when you're happy at home. If your home is not happy, a lot of times, um, my mother hates me for this, but I have had people break up from toxic relationships. And the reason for that is because the toxicity is so much that it's debilitating the person from acting in their capacity, right? I have mentioned this to you before. One of the few occasions where I did this was a person who became an author from being an IT professional. He was having a high flying IT career in London and everything, getting paid in the lakhs, and eventually decided to become an author at the age of 44, and his books were not selling, so he came to me for guidance. We spoke, and every day he was looking distressed, and how his wife would always tell him, I didn't marry a loser, I married a high flying career guy. Today, look at you, you can't even sell books, you're not even a good author, you're not earning much. Constantly he was getting nibbled out, and eventually I told him, this can't go on. If she's telling you you're a loser, you will be a loser. You can't perform when somebody's constantly telling you you're bad, you're bad, you're bad. Either you go and do what she wants, become IT professional again. But if you have to be an author, you need flow, you need inspiration, and you can't be inspired when somebody's telling you you're a loser. And he took me very seriously. And within a week, his wife went back to Jaipur, and so he started writing, and within a year, he was a best-selling author. Sony bought rights to his books. He became an author for Harvard Business Review. He became a professor at multiple places, the Kolkata Literary Fest, Jaipur Literary Fest. Everybody started inviting him. He Google made, author piece for him, and he became happy. And by the way, his relationship with his wife didn't suffer that much. They were separated, not divorced. So when he was happy at home, he was able to perform very nicely at work in a very inspired way. And that's where this idea of Lakshmi and Narayan goes together, right? You keep Narayan happy, you act dharmically, and if you act dharmically, you will attract Lakshmi Devi. But from a man's perspective, from a woman's perspective, act like Lakshmi Devi. Husband will also stay. A lot of people have issues where the husband is looking elsewhere. Why? Because he's not satisfied at home. Now, there are people who are just by debauchery by nature. Okay, that's also there. Please don't take offense to what I'm saying. I'm just trying to draw some parallel from the Supreme Lord to our lives so that it's more relatable. That's something I like to do when I'm sharing Krishna consciousness, is make things more relatable. So that's what is here. So when you're happy at home, you can be productive elsewhere. And that's an important thing to kind of learn from this particular verse. Okay. Next, anybody has any questions or anybody felt offended and wants to share something?
I have a question.
Yeah.
No, because since you're drawing parallel and I've always known you to say things for this era. Not
Yeah.
we're not living in the Vedic times.
Yes. Yes.
And in this era, whether it's good or bad, whether you're rich or poor, every woman is working. Either you need money or either you need respect, or for some or the other reason, even the rich who don't require money are working. The whole concept of family life is anyway diluted, wherein you are saying that a woman, if at home she's okay, she keeps the husband happy, then the husband is able to concentrate and is able to get the money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the other way around also, because now both are working. It's not just one companion working in every aspect. So how it's how is it valid in that? And I can understand this, that yes, if both of them are happy together, then they do respectively in their work lives, they do good, and it can be for both ways. But
True.
other than that,
But gender roles still play a role. Gender still plays a role. Women, by nature's design, not all women, not all men, but women in general are supposed to be the nurturing, soft, um, preserving. You only told me once. You give something to a woman, she'll make something nice with it,
oh
right?
yes, every time, yeah.
Yes. So that's the nature of a woman in general. Nature of a man is go out there. He's a provider. He's more of a person who thrives outside the home. A woman is somebody who thrives more on the softer side of nourishing, nurturing things, whether it's child, whether it's home. Now, yes, both people are working, both person are earning. Still, a man is looking for nourishment at home. Nourishment doesn't mean the bed is clean and this and that. That's also important. And for that, we have maid servants and other things. We're resourcing ourselves with the modern times. Still, what if at home, if there's chaos and there's shouting and fighting and disagreements and constant throwing of things, that's a chaotic home. Neither the husband is happy nor the wife is happy.
True.
When they're not happy, they will not be able to perform at their respective workplaces. It's just common sense. It's not a matter of modern or being in the Vedic period. It's just like if you get a good night's sleep, you'll be productive the next day. If you feel loved at home, you'll be able to give love to others. And there is plenty of research that shows children who bully other children at home, they're getting abused mentally or physically, right? They are not happy. That's why they can't make others happy. They want to make others miserable. So when I say happiness at home, by the gender roles, generally women are in charge of the home affairs, even if they're working. The maid is still under a woman's control, mostly speaking, if there is a married family. The husband takes care of paying for the maid, perhaps. Again, I'm being a little stereotypical, but exceptions exist because generalistic stereotypes also exist. So let's understand this is the stereotype, and this is the kind of the median, the 80%. This is what happens. Even if people are working, a woman is expected to be the nurturing, soft, emotional aspect, like Radharani, Ahladini Shakti, the loving potency of the Lord. Balaram is a creative, or takes care of management and managing the entire creation. So that's where this is coming from. Roles
This
change.
I agree, yes.
House husbands exist, wives work, how husbands work at home. That's there. But I'm talking about in general. Doesn't answer your
In
question.
general, yes, I agree with what you're saying. In general, in today's trend, both are working. So for both to be happy, both need to nourish each other. That's what I understand.
In their own way. Husband
Yes,
nourishes
in their own way,
inner.
of course,
Yes.
gender roles will
Husband. So the gender role matters. The husband nourishes with protection.
gender roles will matter. Yes, of course.
So husband
Yes,
provides
that I
the
agree.
masculine aspect, which is protection, uh, support, etc. The
Yes.
woman provides the feminine support. That's how
Yes.
she contributes. So even though both are working, the sanctity of home is coming from the feminine energy and the masculine energy. That doesn't change.
Yes. That doesn't
The
change. Yes,
child also, to be a confident individual, to be a grounded, secure individual, they have to receive the nourishment of feminine energy from their mother, the softer side of things, and the discipline from the father, the stronger side of things. So the feminine and the masculine energy together creates the right balance that keeps the home hearty.
true. Agreed.
So does it fit in with the modern and the Vedic connection? Is there a bridge? Do you see that?
See, the Vedic system was always correct, but due to the change in society in the last 100 years, like how ISKCON is still, trying to bring the Varnashra system, and it is not able to do it completely. So that kind of shifts are always there. So completely putting the Vedic system in today's world, for me, it's a little difficult to accept now. Maybe if I advance
That's
further,
why we take the
probably.
essence.
Yeah, we just take the essence and we try to do the best
And if you
in
see
whatever
the
scenario we
words
get
I'm
to.
using, masculine energy, feminine energy.
Feminine energy. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Yes. Thank you.
Glad we do. All right.
We'll see.
We have 5 minutes left. Are there any other questions or realizations that you want to share?
Prabhuji, I had a question. The example that you just provided of that Prabhuji, right, who suddenly left job to write a book.
Mhm.
So I'm just thinking from a woman's perspective, right? She has to take care of the family and child, and the man being the provider, like you mentioned. So isn't it obvious for her to panic in a situation and you know? If the family goes unstable financially in today's world, especially when it is too expensive everything, and taking care of the children in these expensive cities. So I'm just trying to understand from that perspective, like, was she also completely, yeah, demotivating him is, I understand, but her point also is like, isn't it
So
genuine?
first of all, they didn't have any children. Second of all, he had plenty of
Okay.
money to support both of them. Thirdly, she was working. Uh, and so there was no dearth of money. But she was worried about where is this man going into, which you're right, that a woman can feel like that because she married somebody who had a nice job and nice everything. But when there is love, you support the partner's vision and dream and ambition. He has worked like a dog for several decades. Now he wants to transition into something he has dreamed of. And it might be, exactly not what what might be desirable at that point, but a loving partner would allow that. I'm not here to pass judgment on the woman because she didn't come to me. Her husband did. And her husband came to me to be successful. And what I was giving the example was purely from that angle, right? That he can't be successful if he has somebody telling him, you're a loser, go get a job. So she's wrong? No, I don't say that. In fact, he passed away. I've shared with you, he passed away a couple of years back, and she received the entire inheritance, even though they were separated. And it is what it is. Having said that, my connection was to him, and I saw him succeed happily.
Hmm.
And I saw my own parents, when they separated, both of them were happy individually. Together, it was a toxic relationship. But they separated, they were happy individually. I know many other devotees who have been divorced in Krishna consciousness, even taking vows in front of the deity and everything. But after separation, at least one of them is happy. Before, both of them are miserable.
Hmm.
That's the reality of life. You know, I myself have gone through so many breakups, miserable times I have been through, horrible times. Oh, you can't even imagine. So one thing I have understood is if something is dragging you down, try to make things right. If it is not working, it's better to at least minimize the damage in whatever way is possible.
Understood, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Most
Thank
welcome.
you.
There's a question from Akshat. How can relationship exist when one man or wife is atheist and the other is a theist? A relationship, I'll give an example. We have a proper disciple who is a prolific preacher, and her husband is a Muslim. And together they have had 14 children from different husbands and wives, right? And till death, she died of cancer, but she had a different husband, he had a different wife, and they had children from past, and they had children together, so 14 children. They all lived harmoniously. Some of the children became Krishna conscious, some of the children became Hindus or Vaishnavas, some of them were atheists. But the husband wife relationship till death was amazing. She died of cancer, and doctor gave time, 6 months, and that's exactly how she died. And the husband was always by her side. He never accepted Vaishnavism. He was a Muslim person who was doing his 5 time prayers every day and did his everything. But the husband wife relationship was based on chemistry, service, love, and mutual respect, that you believe in this, I believe in this version of God, and we respect each other, not trying to show, I'll show you what's the right. The atheist telling the theist, no, you're wrong, I'm right. That's where things go wrong. So when it's a relationship, if one person is an atheist, one person is a theist, that shouldn't be a consideration for the relationship, because the relationship is between two individuals. Vaishnava relationship different, where Krishna is the center. But I'm just talking about normal man-woman relationship, normal conjugal relationship. There, the relationship is based on qualities and service, right? The qualities are what sustains us through the difficult times. And the service is what brings in the attachment for each other, or the love for each other when there is service. That's what creates or nourishes the relationship. Just like a tree, sunlight and water, both are important. Same way in a relationship, qualities and service. Both are important. It's wonderful when it's Krishna conscious, Krishna is in the center. But even if Krishna is not in the center, one is a theist and atheist, there can be love and respect for each other. And I tell you, with love and respect, even if it is one-sided, the other side will eventually soften up. And the nature of Vaishnavism is such that the other side will eventually become Vaishnavized or Krishnaized. And eventually there will be a Krishna conscious relationship. At least appreciation, even if the other person is not chanting 16 rounds, that's okay. But at least there's appreciation that, yes, you love God, and I appreciate that about you. I hope that answers your question, Akshay. Yes.
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji.
They don't come together if the mindset is not matching. That's a disaster. So, no, not necessarily. I can be an atheist and a very good person. So there are two kinds of atheists. One atheist is somebody who is, I'll make sure you don't believe in God. The other one is, I don't believe in God because I don't get it. You believe in God, good for you. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeshwanandan was like that. He was atheist, hardcore atheist. But he supported me. Oh, you believe in this? Okay. Makes you happy? I'll support you. So our friendship bonded, from when he was atheist, I was a theist, complete opposites. To eventually appreciation, to eventually association, and then he is now more of a devotee than I am. Right? So now the dirty atheists who are here to put, the vicious ones, yeah, stay away from them as much as possible. I don't do business deals. I don't hire. If I find out somebody is atheist, I can't trust them. The vicious ones. But those who are open-minded, they are atheists because they don't have the knowledge for it. They're innocent atheists. They're open to. They're not the evil demoniac type. So if it's an evil demoniac type, don't relate to them. Please stay away from them.
So sometimes we can see them as a person, like not into those kinds of.
Always you should see somebody as a person, even pure devotees. First, you see them as a person, then you see their qualifications and other things.
For any kind of relationship.
For any kind of relationship. And you see the behavior away from the person. For example, somebody who is very close to you can have a blast, having a bad day, can be saying terrible things to you. You separate the behavior and you see the person I love, the behavior, not acting like this person always acts. Okay, something is wrong. So naturally, if somebody calls you a stupid person, you can, rather than saying idiot, you say, what's going on? Are you having a bad day today? Because you connect it to the person, not the behavior. Just like the disease. We separate the disease out. Disease is not my friend. If you have a disease, I'll come with a mask. I will not hug you while you're having the disease. But that doesn't mean I don't love you. The person and the disease, the person and the behavior, the core and the external has to be seen separately. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Have a good night.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Namaskar.